Oh boy. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Okay. Yep, that's working. That's working. Alrighty. And then I'll just go ahead and do this. Excuse me. Whoops. For about 2 hours. Yeah, so that. Hello, Kale. Yes. Good to see you, man. Hello, Blackfire. First day at IT job. Nice, nice, dude. Congratulations on the new job. That's awesome. Love it. That is fantastic. Unstoppable scrolling meets unskippable stream. I don't think I've ever heard that one before. What are we doing today? We're gonna work on boot.dev. So I paid like 200 and something bucks for boot.dev, and I haven't been very good at doing it every day. So I so I'm restarting streaming on a regular basis so I can keep myself accountable to doing it every day. Hello, bro. Is Voldemort? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. I see some familiar faces, so that's good. That is a good thing. Oh, one sec. Hold on. Disappear for just a second. Okay, I'm coming back. 3, 2, 1, and I'm back. All right. So, I guess we just need to start. I guess that's first things first. I don't even know where I left off with this. Ooh, Pixel 9a. Nice. New phone, new hardware. That's always exciting shit. I'm trying to be very disciplined about not spending money on stuff that I don't actually need, but my brain is very much trying to talk me into buying something, whether it be an iPhone or a computer, something like that. I'm starting viewing on a regular basis. Then, of course, yeah, man. If you want to come and hang out, for sure. Although you're going to be a busy man, it sounds like with this new job, so no skin off my back if you have other more pressing things to be doing. Smashing Viking, no worry about not being in the streams because there really haven't been any streams. So no worries there, man. You have brain surgery? Ah, that's crazy, dude. Well, I hope it goes well. Wow, your iPhone 13's at 78% battery health? That's surprising. Well, I guess it's an iPhone 13. So what is that? That's three. Well, that's not that old, is it? When did the iPhone 13 come out? Release. Oh, 5 years old. Okay. Yeah. So I think that's probably pretty reasonable. Yeah. So it's probably time for an upgrade. Sarvam. Hello, Sarvam. Good to see you. Yeah, I've had Pixels. I had a Pixel. My very first Pixel was a Pixel 3. Um, and I always have. So I always have an Android phone for work and an iPhone for personal, just because work pays for a phone, and I don't want to be the non-blue bubble boy in all my messages. So I have a and I Android's nice. I mean, the thing is, I'm kind of the opinion that the operating system of your phone doesn't really matter because you spend all your time in basically all the same apps. So it's almost like for most people, like whatever their desktop OS on their machine is doesn't really matter for the vast majority of people because they spend all the time in the browser anyways. So it's like, that's a pretty decent battery you got there, Kale. Android matters to me because of terminal emulation. So, Kale, are you coding on your phone? Are you like developing on your phone, running some Linux distro on your phone? I mean, I guess you could argue Android is some form of a Linux distro, huh? Nice. That's hilarious. I don't think I've ever seen anybody code on a phone before. That's a new one. That's a new one. I do want to be the non-blue bubble boy. I use Linux down too. Well, that's totally fine. To each his own. I don't want to be the guy who can't send. Uh, well, I guess they fixed some of that stuff, but it used to be when I had my Pixel 3. When I first got my Pixel 3, whenever I would try to send like videos or images or whatever to my wife, who had an iPhone at the time, they would always come through weird or odd. And then like the tap back reactions on messages never worked right. Like it would always just turn into a sentence in a text message. But I guess some of that stuff they've sort of kind of fixed. Well, that's pretty cool, Kale, that you're coding on your phone, man. I don't know if I'd ever do that. Good morning, Gun Highs. Good to see you. Yes, that's what it is. RCS. That solves some of those messaging problems, I think, doesn't it? All right, what am I doing here? Oh, this is I'm actually building a agent is what this lesson is. So we'll make this one be NeoVim. We'll make this be our terminal. Forget what I called this. Yeah, I called it Arms. There we go. I forget where I haven't worked on this in like probably 3 weeks. Of course he uses Edge. He's Giga Chad. I don't know if using Edge makes you Giga Chad, but Edge is the browser I use. I'm your biggest fan. I'll follow you till you love me. You really know how to make a guy feel awkward there. All right, so what are we doing here? Following the same pattern that we used for schema get files info, create declarations for the remaining functions. I put some more details about blah, blah, blah. Get file content, run Python file, write file. Update your list of available functions to include all the declarations. We'll call them later. Okay. So I guess I need to let's actually go here first. No. Get pull. Guys, he has Ram go get him. Of course I do. How long it's been? Like 3,000 years? It's been a while since I streamed. Um, yeah, quite a while. But hopefully streaming will help me be more consistent with this boot.dev thing. Because I do want to finish it. After I finish boot.dev, I want to buy Mark Rober's hack pack. So I'm kind of using the hack pack as an incentive to finish boot.dev. What am I doing? This is not where I want to be. That's going to really bother me. Okay. So, looks like I completed some of this. Get file content. Okay. And then I think I need to update my main. Let's see. Oh, I also need to activate my, what is it? Source. There you go. Minecraft mods, nice. I don't think that's a pit of darkness. I think Minecraft mods sound fun, especially if it's for your kid. I think that sounds like a great use of your time. Now, there we go. Let's see. So we got to update this guy. Read file contents. Execute Python files with optional arguments. And write or overwrite files like this. So I think I did all those. Okay. I guess let's try some of these prompts real quick. So let's do UV. We'll say write hello to main.txt. I don't think that actually did, yeah, that didn't actually do anything. Let's see. Run main.py. And then what's the last one here? List contents of the directory. Okay. So now we should be able to submit, yeah? See what happens. See you guys. Have a good day, man. Love doing stuff with my kid, but man, Java, yuck. I love doing stuff with my kid. I have never written any Java, so I don't even know how I feel about it. All right, we passed that test. On to the next one. Oh, also, I should use some potions. And we should also accept a quest. Let's activate some potions. I wish there was a way. Nope, that's not what I want. I want it to be half of, there you go. Much better. Finally, someone who doesn't LARP about Java. I've never written any of it. I need to. I like coffee so much. I kind of feel like responsible for taking the time to learn Java, but I've never written any of it. I've written a ton of C Sharp, which people tell me is familiar and similar. Good morning, Cyberlanka. Good to see you. Hello, Network Bib. Hope you're doing well. I saw one of your comments on one of my videos a while ago asking when I was going to stream again. Well, today's the day. Today's the day. Oh, also, I guess for those of you guys who care. Hello, Danny. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Just going to pin a comment on YouTube. Excuse me. Let's see. Twitch stream. Message. What are we doing today? We are doing boot.dev stuff. So boot.dev is this learning education platform, but it's kind of gamified, has sort of this like role playing game aspect to it, kind of fantasy RPG aspect to it. It's been a ton of fun, but I haven't been very consistent with doing it, and I paid like $200 something for 12 months of it, and my goal is to get to level 100 within that time frame. So I'm just gonna grind it on stream until I get there, and then talk to you guys. I don't know. Drink coffee, talk to you guys. Let's see. Create a function that will handle the abstract task of calling one of our 4 functions and returning its result. The signature. This is the signature I used. Okay, I put this function in call function. Well, that makes sense. So I'll say .def call function, and then let's do function call is types dot function call, and verbose is a bool. And this returns types dot content. Okay. Why are you not happy? Parameter false. Pass. So why are you not happy? Oh, because I'm not returning content. That's why. Let's see. The function call argument will be types.function call. The object that has, most importantly, a name property and an args property. If verbose is specified, print the function's name and args. Okay. Otherwise, just print the name. Fair enough. So we'll do if verbose print calling function call dot name. What else? And then wrap this in parentheses and say function call dot args. That. Otherwise, we just print the name. Well, that's awesome that they give away a plan for students. That's very cool. I did not know that. Good morning, Born to Shine. Thanks for being a member, man. That is super kind of you to have stuck around being a member this whole time. Even though I haven't really been making much content or streaming the last month or two. So thank you very much. Appreciate the support, man. Okay, we'll need to find which of the 4 functions to call, if any, to make this ergonomic, to find a mapping of function names to actual functions. You can use a dictionary for this. Okay. Excuse me. All right, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just check off each one of these things one at a time. So let's create a function map. Whoops. All right. Don't call it though. Okay, and then we need each of the other ones. We have get file, content, and then what were the other ones named? Get file content, get files info. Info. Run Python file. And then write file. Got to import those. So this would be run Python file. Whoops. That's not what I wanted to do. And this would be write file. Wonder why that's formatted like that, but the other ones aren't. Hey, what's up, ye oldie feck? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Huh. Must be the length of the line or something. we go. That's better. Hello, Falric. Good to see you. What are we building today? So we're working through boot.dev, and currently the lesson that we're on is about building like an agent in Python. So that's what we're working on. Nothing super duper exciting. Okay, so we've got this. Also talking to you guys, obviously. Talking to you, drinking some coffee. Working on boot.dev stuff. So now we need to get the function name. That equals function call dot name, or we'll set it to a default of an empty string. Then we're going to try to, if the provided function name is not found in the mapping you defined earlier, return types.content object that returns the error. Okay, so probably the best way to do this is to say function equals function map, and then isn't there a get method? Yeah, and so this will just return none if it doesn't find anything, right? So we can say get, and then if function is none, we can return the error they gave us over here. Like that. Error, unknown function. Yep, that should work. Assuming the function name is valid, handle the provided arguments. We're going to overwrite one argument to ensure the working directory is set properly. So you should make a shallow copy with the dix constructor. Okay, let's just go ahead and copy that. This way we have our own copy of the args to work with. If function.args is none, we get an empty dictionary, which is more convenient. Set working directory to calculator in the args directory. Now we get to actually call the function. So do args working directory, and we'll set that to calculator. Okay. Look at us, we're just tearing through this. Hello, Fallen Greats. Agents, at least you're coding, that's what I'm here for. I know, isn't it so funny how, like, you try to get away from AI and you cannot get away from AI. Yeah, hopefully it's not much longer. It's part of, they're basically building an agent to help you learn how to code in Python. So, at least it's pragmatic. Let's see, the values in your map of function are callable functions, so you can just call the one you need. The syntax to pass a dictionary into a function using keyword arguments.
Best friends?
Hey, thanks for the follow. Inkstiv? I don't know how to say your name, but thanks for the follow, man. Appreciate that. Okay, so let's go ahead and just say function results equals function and pass in the args. And then we'll just return this guy. Copy pasta. Nothing like a little copy pasta magic. Here we go. Okay, back in your main module or wherever you handle the response from the LLM, instead of simply printing the name of the function that the model decides to call, use call function and assign its result to a variable, function call result. Okay. Go here, main.py. Let's see, if response.function calls does not equal none, then we iterate over and we print. So this says we should do this. Function call result equals call function and pass in our function call. And then they said if function call result dot parts so if length of parts equals 0, then it's empty. What? Argument of type list part or none cannot be assigned to parameter. Oh, so I need to check. So I need to say function call result. Huh. So it really doesn't handle if it's none. Okay, so let's just do this. So that is none. We'll raise. What do we want to raise? An exception? Function call result is none. If function, oh, actually, it's not the call result, it's the parts. If length of function okay. Otherwise, we have some stuff we can do with this. We want to look at the function response property of the first item in the list of parts. It should be a function response object. If it's somehow none, raise an exception. So we'll do function response equals function call results dot parse. We'll get the first item, the function response. If function response equals none, raise an exception here. Python still has not grown on me. It's still a pain for me to write. I'm suffering through it for the sake of becoming an Archmage, but damn, I just don't get it. Let's see, function response is none. And then finally, we need to check dot response field of the function response. Okay, so then we'll say, let's see, function response. I don't know. What are you supposed to name this thing? Function response dot. I guess we'll just call it response. And again, if that. This has to be the most painful way to access a property. Well, we had to go through 1, 2, 3 levels of access, checking none. I hate optional properties. I hate them so much. I would much rather have a default value for a property than the optional. Like, just give me an empty string. Let's see. If response equals none, then raise exception. Function. I guess I'll just say actually response is none. Those are terrible error messages, but okay, now that we know that some response came back from the function call, add dot parts 0 to a list of function results. We'll use that later. Okay, so we need a list of function responses. Where should we put that? Do we put that inside the loop maybe? No, we put it on the outside of the loop. And then we'll just make it a list. What's the type here? Type is Dexter any. So we have a list of Dexter any, like that. Is that not how you type stuff? Ah. These are lowercase. It's capital. There we go. So then we'll do function responses dot append response. If the verb verbose mode is in effect, print the result of the function call like this. So you mean do this. Print response. Yeah. Okay, I think that's I think that's correct. Yep, we did that, we did that, we did that, we did that, we did that. Okay, I think that's all done. Test your program. You should be able to execute each function given a prompt that asks for it. Try some different prompts and use the dash dash verbose flag to make sure all the functions work. Okay. So I guess let's just go back and test these. UV run. See what happens. It blew up. I've been trying to get GitHub student. I don't know why it takes so long for them to approve. Yeah, I have no idea. I've had several people in chat mention how generous GitHub's student stuff is. Um, Unfortunately for me, I learned how to code after I was out of school, so I never have gotten to take advantage of it. Same Python's just weird. Yeah. I, it doesn't fit me. I don't know why, man. It doesn't fit me. I despise AI autocomplete. I even disabled LSPs as well. I like it much better. Yeah, so I don't have any autocomplete, but I don't know if I'd be a developer if I didn't have IntelliSense. uh, when I think back to a time where people didn't have IDEs or code actions or IntelliSense, that's just wild to me to write code that way. Hey, AG Daniel, sorry I missed your message there. Yo, bro, where did you go? I almost gave up on my career because I stopped seeing your streams. How are you doing the way? Well, don't give up on your career on my behalf. I've been doing good. I just took a break from streaming. I mainly make content just for fun. I don't really make any money from it or anything. So whenever I feel like not doing it, I just don't do it. Hello, Toad Sage. Yes, it has been a long time, but it's nice to see you again, man. Hope you're doing well. All right, why do we think this blew up? Get files info got an unexpected keyword argument. Unexpected keyword argument. Well, that's weird because it expects. Oh, no, it doesn't. I think it expects. What's that one? What are we calling? Get files info. Oh, did I not name this correctly? I think I named them all that way though. I guess what I should do is I should just change the name of this to directory so that this matches up with the argument that the LLM is trying to generate for it. Let's try that. There we go. Calling function, result, PyCache, calculator.py, render.py. Nice. It worked. So let's try some other ones. Let's try. Maybe try write. Let's try writing a file. Did it write it? I don't see it. Oh, it's in here. Yep, there it is. Main.txt. Cool. And then let's try running a Python file. It's always exciting when the thing works. Let's see. Where is it? Run.main.py. That did it. And then what was the last thing we needed to do? I think it's write a file. No, we had just wrote a file. It's whatever we did after writing file. Run main.py. List contents. Write hello. I thought there was one other prompt we did. What was it? Write file, read the contents, run main, this one. UV run main.py. Awesome. They all work. Okay, so now we need to run our tests. I actually think I might have broke our tests. So UV run. What is it? Cannot read. I think those all passed. I think that passed. Yeah, I think those are all working. Famous last words. All right, let's try to submit it. Actually, hold on. Before we submit, I'm just gonna give it a dry run. What's going on with me? Nothing much, man. Same old, just work and kids and family and writing some code. That's the wrong coffee cup. Yeah, not much. All right, I think this worked. Although I think I have a double print in there somewhere. I don't think I need to print that in the... Whoops, that's a calculator. I think in here. I don't think I need to print it up here. code, coffee, and Claude code. Do you mean Claude code? Yeah, not for me, but if that's how you like to code, do your thing. You know, I would never get in the way. I would never get in between you and your happiness. What is Archmage? So Archmage is like the top level in boot.dev. So boot.dev is this learning platform, but it's gamified, and the top level is a level 100, and that makes you an Archmage, and they send you a coin with a little letter whenever you achieve it. Uh, so I've always wanted to try boot.dev, and I signed up for a 12-month subscription, and I'm just kind of working my way through the courses and leveling up. So far, I have nothing but good things to say about boot.dev. It's kind of expensive though for like somebody just getting started. But if you're willing to pony up some money for some educational material, I would recommend it. All right, let's go ahead and submit now. Hello, Mark. Yes, long time no see indeed, sir. Ranacreed, what AI are you using for code? I am not using AI to code much. If I do use a coding agent, it would be it's kind of just like random. Like I have three that are installed on my machine. I have Copilot, the anti-gravity CLI from Google. It used to be the Gemini CLI, and then I have OpenCode. I think I also have Pi installed. I don't know if you guys have heard about Pi. It's kind of a. I think I have that installed. Oh, I probably don't have it installed on Ubuntu, but I know I have it. I think I have it installed on Windows, on the Windows side. But yeah, I just kind of grab one if I want to use one. I just whatever one comes to my fingertips first. But I haven't been using them very regularly to code. I kind of enjoy coding just the activity of it myself. I know not everybody feels that way, so that's okay. All right, now we're gonna start looping. So we've got some function calling working, but it's not fair to call our program an agent yet. For one simple reason, it has no feedback loop. The key part of an agent, as defined by AI influence. That's pretty funny. A key part of an agent, as defined by AI influencer Hype Bros, is that it can continuously use its tools to iterate on its own results. So we're going to build two things: a loop that will call the LLM over and over. Excuse me. A list of messages in the conversation. It will look something like this. This is a big step. Take your time. You're really close to the finish line now. All right. Let's add our loop here. So that was generate content. So we're going to come back up into main. And right now we're just doing one.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Hey, Uncle Pee-wee, thanks for being a sub, man. Appreciate you. That was very kind of you. You're the man. Okay, where do I want to put this? If args.verbose. So we already have our messages here. So I think we can loop here. So let's say four in range. Let's just do 10. So I kind of feel like, yeah, we need to rework this. I don't want to change anything too much because I don't know what the tests are checking for, but we want to print the users, like we want to print the conversation, right? Alternating. So we need to ensure that in each iteration of the loop, the model is aware of all the messages into a request that it has generated so far. Each response from the Gemini API has a candidates property. A list of the model's responses to the last prompt, usually just one. Add all candidates to the conversation history so the model can see them in future iterations. After each call to generate content, check the candidates property of the response. I recommend doing this early in the loop before handling function calls. Okay. I don't really like the fact that I don't really want to loop. So right now this returns nothing to me. So I think what I might do is I might have generate content return us whatever the response was. But he says, or the instructions say, after each call to generate content, check the .candidates property of the response. I recommend doing this early in the loop before handling function calls. But the function calls are in the generate content. So I don't know how that applies to what we're doing. This model will also need to see the results of any function calls that it makes. You should already be collecting a list of function results. Append that to the messages list at the end of each loop iteration, making a types.content object with a role of user and parts. Set the function results. Should like something like this. The loop ends when the model doesn't request any more function calls, i.e., when it has a final response for the user. You should already be handling this case, printing the .text property of the response if there's nothing in function calls. Okay. All right, so let's move the. Okay, so let's not do what we were just gonna do here. Let's remove the loop, and we'll put the loop down here, and we'll bound it. We'll say for, just like he did, and we'll go ahead and See, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to avoid, I'm passing in, we're passing in messages here. And I don't really like the idea of mutating that list inside this function, but I think I'm going to do it just for this, for simplicity's sake. So let's do that. And then this is also not the right way to do this, because what we actually would probably want is we'd want this to be like turn of conversation. But this is the way the program's written at this point, so we'll just stick with it. I have not done any IoT projects, but they sound like fun. There's this thing I want to buy called the Hack Pack from Mark Rober. It's like a subscription box. I think it's supposed to be aimed towards like kids, but I think they have you do some like software hardware stuff in that subscription box. But I think it would be fun, and I think it would also might be fun to try to do with my kids if my kids show any kind of interest in it. But as of now, I've never done anything with IoT. Hello, Filthy Potato. Good morning. Nice to see you. Good to see you, Arvin. Hope you're doing well. Oh, I guess I also need to put this here. So I don't I don't think returning is the right move here. Let's remove that for a second. Cannot access attribute text for class dict stir any. Oh, that okay. Well, that's annoying. So let's rename this to model response. Oops. That wasn't very smart of me. Model response. But it's gonna rename everything. That's really annoying. So this needs to be response. There we go. So if model response.text Don't need parentheses. This is not C# or TypeScript. So if it does not equal none, we'll print. Yeah. And then we'll just continue. And we'll do the same thing here. Actually, I don't know if that's actually what we definitely don't want to return. So it says if the maximum number of iterations is reached and the model still hasn't produced a final response, print a message explaining what went wrong. The loop ends when the model doesn't request any more function calls, i.e. when it has a final response for the user. You should already be handling this case. Okay. So I think what we need to say actually is this. So and then if we get here, we just need to break. And then if we oh no, or we need to return here. And then if we end up getting outside the loop, this is, I think, where we'd print a message explaining what went wrong. Model took more than the max iterations to produce final response. And then how do we exit in Python? Let's see. Python how to exit with specific exit code. Sys.exit. Sys.exit. Hello, Lewis. You left programming for a while. Oh no. Now you're coming back. What advice do you have for me, especially when I'm expecting to make as much income as I can in a field which seems to be dying? I don't know, man. I do not have any advice on how to make as much income as you can. I don't know if you should be trying to work in a field if you think it's dying, though. That might be the first thing. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if I have any advice for you. Hey, Arvin, what's up, man? Steven, got me some testing jobs already. I'll learn JUnit and test containers, I swear. I don't know anything about JUnit, but test containers is OP. Test containers has got to be one of the best pieces of technology that nobody really talks about, but everyone should be using. It's freaking awesome. Okay, let me just read this again. So I haven't actually done anything to add to the messages. So when we get the response, before we handle the tool call, and let's say after the verbose, let's say check the candidate's property of the response. I recommend doing this early in the loop before handling function calls. If there are any candidates, there should be, iterate over them and append the .content property of each messages. Okay, so we'll say if the length of response.candidates model response equals 0. Okay, so if model response dot candidates equals none. So if there are no candidates, then we have a problem, right? This would be like raise runtime error model candidates empty. Or I guess can I say, let's do this actually. Let's do if model response candidates is not none and does not equal 0. Then what we'll do is we'll say for candidates in model response dot candidates messages dot append candidate dot content. Okay, so another check here. If candidate dot content does not equal none, then do this. Okay. And then there's the function calls here. So the model will also see the results of any functions that you make. You should already be collecting a list of function results. Append that to the messages list at the end of each loop iteration, making a types.content object. It should look something like this. Okay, so just before we continue then, we should say messages.append types.content role equals user and parts equals function responses. Well, that's not right. Oh, unless it expected... Did it expect this, I wonder? Function response, maybe? Oh. Type.function. Is that what it expected? That's still not satisfying. Let's see, argument of type list cannot be assigned to parameter of parts of type part. Huh. I don't know what I did wrong. It felt wrong being paid to wait for Windows to install today. That sounds like a good job, man. You know, that sounds like a great job. Hello, Ecam. How are you, man? It has been a long time no see. This is the first time I've streamed in a long time. Okay, so this expects a type of part. All right, I gotta go to the restroom. I'll be right back. Let's see. How do I do this? I forgot how to do this. Oh my god! I about pulled out my headphones. That's a big one, huh? It's a big be right back sign. All right, I'll be right back. It is 4th of July weekend. Oh, did somebody not know what test containers was? I wish I could have been the one to tell them, but Arvin already beat me to it. See you, Filthy Potato. Have a good day at work, man. I'm gonna make some coffee. Then try to figure out this. All right. Stefan's here? What? No way. Did I miss him in the chat? I do not see him in the chat. Hey, there you go. Sorry I missed you, man. How you doing? Good to see you, dude. Long time no see. Alright, so my issue right now here is that this expects a particular type, and I'm currently not giving it that type. So argument of type list function response cannot be assigned to parts of type list part or none. The type is invariant, but function response is not the same as part. So let's see if we can't read some source code. Let's figure this out. Gen AI Python library. And is there a repo link here somewhere? I want there we go, types. So I want if this ever loads. Or no, that's not what I want. Part. Okay, we're gonna try to find this on GitHub. This will be much easier to navigate. GitHub. There we go. So here's our types. Country attacked us and bombed us for 2 months. Blockade. Oh, Arvin, you know what? I didn't even remember to check in with you how you're doing. Your name actually came up quite a few times when the war eventually or first happened. We all were kind of worried and wondered what was going on with you. But it's nice to know you're doing okay because you're back on the internet. But yeah, the whole war situation is not great. Not great. I think my water's ready. Hold on one sec. Hey, what's up, Mike Hawk? This is not sponsored. Nah, I just purchased boot.dev because I always thought it looked interesting and looked fun, so I'm making my way through it slowly but surely. Now, if anybody knows anybody at boot.dev and wants to get me a a promo code or a sponsorship, I will happily take it. But yeah, this is just for fun. Okay, I don't see this in here. Part. Maybe class part. Oh, it was. Okay. All right, so function response. So function response is a property on part. Exactly one field within part should be set representing the specific type of content being conveyed. Using multiple fields within the same part instance is considered invalid. So this really should be something different. Hello, Dota 2. How are you? Good to see you. Steven is back. Maybe you were always back. No, I haven't been streaming at all for like the last, I don't know how long. It's been a long time. Um, and so, but I want to complete this boot.dev thing that I started, and so I think streaming will be a great way to kind of hold me accountable to show up every morning and make some progress on this. So that's what my plan is. Hello, Blood Moon. It has been a while, man. It has been a while. Dota, pretty sure I can guess Steven's politics. I don't think so. I think my politics are pretty nuanced. Like it, I think I don't like in the United States I would say I don't really vote along party lines, and I'm not registered with either party. So I think I have a fairly nuanced perspective on a lot of things, you know? And I think I've changed a lot too in my opinions over the years. You know, if you had asked me at 20 versus now at 30, um, I think my thoughts and opinions on things, especially having a family now and having kids and stuff, definitely think about stuff differently. I'm incredibly opinionated, non-nuanced opinion on both parties. Well, yeah, both parties kind of suck in general. Uh, yeah. Hello, Tobias. How are you? Good to see you, man. Appreciate you stopping by the stream. Victor, what are your thoughts on ICE raids, like them deporting U.S. citizens or even legal immigrants? Well, you shouldn't. I mean, deporting a U.S. citizen or deporting a legal immigrant is not. You shouldn't be doing that, right? Because they're by definition they're here legally. Um, I felt like a lot of the ICE raids were unnecessarily performative in a lot of ways and unnecessarily aggressive in a lot of ways from what the coverage of the news was. Particularly, you know, some particularly very heavily covered moments over the last year were particularly disappointing and upsetting. Um, you know, but I'm just a 33-year-old dad in Kansas trying to make his way to retirement, so I don't really have much influence over those types of things. I could just kind of sit by and feel sad about it, you know. Hello, Artwork Studios. Long time no see, man. Hope you're doing well. You back from your hiatus or just chilling? I think I'm back for the most part. I mean, I still like, I don't make any, I shouldn't say I don't make any money. I don't make enough money from making content to put a dent in my income at all. So I mainly just make content when I feel like doing it. Uh, so if I say I'm back, I guess I should say I'm back until I don't feel like making content again, or I don't feel like streaming again. I feel like streaming is nice because it does kind of hold you accountable to show up on a regular schedule and work on something. So I kind of like that aspect of it, and I think that's why I'm going to try to do boot.dev while I stream, because it's just a way to kind of force me to follow through on something I said I was going to do, which is reach level 100. Yeah, no worries, man. Stay as long as you can, Artwork Studios, or as long as you want. No worries. Come and go as you please. Um, okay. So I just don't think this is correct. A pin. Let's see. I know I'm saying boot.dev is incorrect. I just don't think it's correct in the way that, so append that to the messages list at the end of each loop iteration, making a types.content object with a role of user and parts set to the list of function results. Um, so what if I just do this? I'm just going to try some stuff. What if I just do this? Messages, whoops, function call result, and that is a type of content. See, I think there's a disconnect here because we're returning a function. Um, yeah, there's some disconnect between what I wrote and what. Let's look at their solution so far. Okay, so we have. Let's go to this guy and make sure we're on the same page here. Yes. Okay, so we're on the same page there. Then let's go to main. And let's look at main. Okay, so our main looks identical to theirs, aside from our generate content. So if not response dot function calls. Okay, I kind of like, okay, their approach is way better there. So let's do if not response dot function calls model response. If not model response dot function calls. See you, Arvin. Have a good day, man. So how are you doing? How's the family? Hope y'all are good, healthy. Yeah, I mean, nothing really has changed in the last, what is it, month and a half or 2 months that I haven't been streaming. It's just been, we're enjoying summer. Obviously, kids are out of school, so been going to the pool a lot. But yeah, everyone's healthy. Life's good, you know. Still have a job. Still have income. Nothing. I just don't really have much to complain about, you know. Okay. So I'm going to copy their implementation here. Okay, so what did they do differently? So they definitely model response dot functions. Okay, let's see what they did here. So let's GC that for a second. Alright, so what did they do differently than I did? So they have their function responses. They typed that as list types.part, which I did not do. They're calling the function. I was not passing the verbose flags. That was a bug on my part. They're doing all of these checks. And then they're appending. Oh, okay. I see what they did. So okay. But now what they're saying is at the end of each iteration, where am I? At the end of each iteration, we then need to take the function responses. Let's see, the model will also need to see the results of any function calls that it makes. You should already be collecting a list of function results. Append that to the messages list at the end of each loop iteration. So that would be down here. We would say this. And then I think what we want, if we get to this point, we want to just continue in our loop. And instead of, no, we want to return here. So basically what's going to happen is we're going to get the response from the model. We're going to do this 20 times at max. We get the response from the model. We get all the candidates from the model. We add that into our messages. If we don't have any function calls, then we just print the model's response. Otherwise, we handle the function calls and we pass the results of those function calls to the messages. I wonder why. Okay, the reason why we do this first is because of the way the Gemini API expects like the sequence of parts. So you need the function call, and then you need the result. So I think this will work. I think this is what they were after. All right, let's try to test our code with this prompt here. Let's see what happens. It's probably going to blow up, but I think now we're on the right page, or the same page as they are. So how does the calculator render results in the console? Okay, so let's do that. Nice. It worked, I think. So get files info, get file content, final response. I think that worked. Let's try to make ours look as much like theirs as possible. So let's do final response. Although I don't know why it printed it twice. Do you think it actually called it twice? That's the question. Where's the function call? Call function. It must have actually called it twice. Let's try it again. Let's do dash dash remotes. Okay, yeah. So it's looking at both files. It's looking at main.py, and then it's also looking at package. All right, so I think that's working correctly. Let's go ahead and now test it against their stuff. Hey, can you do me a favor and show me that API key? That would make my day. No, I'm going to try not to show you that API key. I mean, I've definitely leaked API keys before on stream. I think that's just like, if you're gonna write code in stream, you're gonna leak stuff. I think the solution to that is you shouldn't stream stuff that is like mission critical, or that you don't have some way of quickly rotating your keys, right? Like that's the solution there. Set up environment variables before you start live. Yeah, but I mean, you could accidentally leak environment variables. You know, I mean, you could accidentally leak if you put your environment variables in your profile. You could accidentally leak I mean, there's just no guaranteed way. That's the thing. There's no guaranteed way to do that. How's the Super Bowl traffic? You mean the World Cup? Uncle Pee-wee? Sorry, I didn't mean to ignore your message. Is that what you're talking about? Okay, let's test our agent's ability to actually fix a bug all on its own. Manually update calculator package calculator.py and change the precedence of the plus operator to 3. Okay. Oh, also, we can delete this. Change. Okay, and then run calculator you go. Main.py 3 plus 7 times 2. Why have been permission denied? What? Oh, because UV run calculator main.py. I'm an idiot. I was trying to run it like a shell script. UV run. No such file or directory. Oh, I'm in the calculator directory now. There we go. There we go. Son of a bitch. This should be 17, but because we broke it, it'll be returned 20. Run your agent and ask it to fix the bug. Okay, so we'll say uv run main.py. My calculator appears broken when I evaluate 3 plus 7 times 2. I get 20, but it should be 17. Please fix. No mistakes. Be expert programmer. I love people who love their prompting. I've updated the package calculator py file to correctly prioritize multiplication over addition. Hey, looky there. Look, our agent can do stuff. Once your agent fixes the calculator, run and submit your tests. Bye, Stefan. Have a good day, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you sticking around my channel for so long. Submit your repo. You've done it. Once you've satisfied with your agent, push it to GitHub, then submit the link to your project. Your link should look something like this. So I think I have this set up for Git, don't I? No? I guess I don't. Let's do git add. Hold on, before we do that, let's make sure we're not committing anything we shouldn't be committing. So the readme's fine. We have the env is ignored. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see, feature complete assignment. Okay, let's go ahead and set up our remote. Sign in here. All right, I don't think I created it yet, so let's go ahead and create it. Oh, I know what we can use our agent to do. Get status. Let's use our let's see, cat readme. Let's do, so uv run main.py. Please rewrite the README.md. So it is a comprehensive and concise overview of the project. See what it does. James, just put it in a JSON format. It will read it better. Oh, hi, James. How are you doing? Stephen, what am I seeing? You just started prompting solutions? Exactly. Yeah. All right, did it do it? I think it did it. I don't think it did it. Oh, it it rewrote the calculator. Oh, that's because I restricted the working directory to just the calculator. So that makes sense. But we actually get, I guess, stash, get drop, or get stash drop 0. Yeah, I don't know what it expects to be in there, so I'm not going to put anything different in there. All right, so this is going to be Einstein. Can be public. We don't need any of that. MIT license is fine. We don't. We'll just leave it empty. Okay, create that repository. And then I don't think we have a license on this, do we? Sorry. So let's do I have cargo installed here? Yeah, so let's do license generator. I don't have that. Rust license generator. What NeoBim plugin? MIT licenses. MIT license is good, you know? Unless I guess you want to keep your code all to yourself and make some money off of it. Okay, so we want license. Actually, I'm going to copy the command because I know I've run the command on my Windows machine. Okay, so we're just going to change this to I mean, I know that's overkill. I know it's overkill. Like, who gives a shit about my little boot.dev project? But I just think it's a good habit to always include it. Okay. So let's go ahead and add a remote here. So we'll say git. Let's copy that. And then we'll do git push. How do I set an upstream URL? Oh, it already did it for me. Nice. Set to track git team main. Yep, that's what I want. And then I need to sync this over to GitHub. so that I can submit it. All right, so we got to go to GitHub, create a repo over there, and then we'll just sync that repo. Einstein. It's fine. Create that repository. Then we'll go back here. And I got to set up a mirror. Let's see, so the way I do this is put that there. I type my username here. And then I got to get my copy that. Paste that in there. And add that. So now, whenever I run this, if I sync now, we should see the code show up over here. There we go. And now, we should be able to go back to boot.dev and submit this. Hey, looky there. We finished it. Build an AI agent in Python course. Claim our XP. Let's see. I'm going to say I do want to rate this course, but I'd like to leave a, yeah. So this was good stuff. I'd really like to see this. I'd really like to see this written alongside, or I'd really like to see this incorporate a testing, if I could spell, a testing strategy. I still think it is very odd that so much developer education does not lead with testing as a core component. Right? Because it would be good, like this is a good project that would, because it uses a third-party API, right? It would be a very useful project to talk about. Well, how would you go about actually unit testing this? How would you go about integration testing this? What are the trade-offs? I just feel like it's so weird that so much developer education test is always something we'll teach you if we get to it, not we're gonna teach it to you, because you need to test your code. If you don't test your code, you're making it somebody else's problem, and you're just creating a lot of unnecessary cognitive load for yourself. All right, so what's next? Let's see. We are on the backend developer path. And so it looks like our next course is going to be learn data structures and algorithms in Python. All right. We can probably actually, we need to deactivate the CD. I guess we can call that anywhere, can't we? How do you manage multiple projects in Tmux? I don't use Tmux. I develop on a Windows machine, so I don't use Tmux. Instead of waiting for Steven to respond, I'm going to look through his GitHub and see all the NeoVim plugins. I forgot I can do that. Yes, yep, my NeoVim config should be all up to date. Christian, have you tried using WebSterm? I have not tried using WebSterm. I just use Windows. I like PowerShell personally. I really do like working in PowerShell. And right now, I'm using my WSL installation of Ubuntu. And whenever I'm on an Ubuntu machine, I just use ZSH. And that works well for me. And I'm doing that because boot.dev doesn't currently support doing their courses in a non-Linux environment. So that's why I'm doing that. But yeah, I'm happy with my terminal setup. I've never tried WebSterm. I just use the Windows Terminal app, and it does everything I need it to do. You know. Hey man. Hey, what's up? How are you, dude? Good to see you again. I'm using WebSterm on my Windows machine. However, sometimes my LSP is kind of slow. You have any experience with this? I don't. For the most part, my experience with NeoVim on Windows has been good. There's been some weird stuff I've had to hack around. I've had to patch a couple plugins because they didn't handle the path separator difference between Windows and the other OSs very well. But yeah, other than that, I've had good experience so far. I don't actually. I've not really used NeoVim a ton outside of Windows, which I know is kind of crazy to say, but I really haven't. I just primarily develop on a Windows machine. WebSterm. Let's see. GPU accelerated cross-platform. Oh, it's written in Rust. Woohoo! Let me check this out. I haven't heard of this. WebSterm. Looks pretty. So it looks like you can obviously split panes. Multiplex terminal panes. Ligatures, colors. Yeah, that looks cool. I mean, I just don't really have a reason to use something different, so. But if this is working well for you guys and you're liking it, you know, I'm all about it. It says runs on Windows 10. Does that mean it doesn't run on Windows 11? I mean, it's written in Rust though, so it's kind of OP, right? Every piece of software that's ever been written in Rust has to tell you it was written in Rust. I use WebTerm since I don't have an alternative for Tmux. Ah, that makes sense. So WebTerm is like your stand-in for Tmux. Nice. I use Alacrity and PSMux. Huh, what's PSMux? So can someone explain to me what it is about Tmux? Or I guess, Kale, in your situation, PSMux, what is the, like in my workflow, or what would it give me in my workflow that would, how do I want to say that? What would it make better about my workflow? Terminal multiplex. So what does that mean? Tmux is so what is that multiplex? I guess I don't understand what it is. I thought Tmux was just a way for you to have like different sessions. Since you can switch so easily. So what is a term? I don't know. I still don't understand. I guess I'm an idiot because I just don't understand. Let's see if Gemini can help me. I don't understand what a terminal multiplexer is. Can you help me? It's not listening. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Manage. Huh. Is it because it's going into the stream? It can't go into this? Huh. That's weird. So I am streaming. Chat tells me terminal multiplexers are OP. I don't understand what a multiplexer is. Can you help me? Can you help me? A terminal multiplexer equals combines multiple terminals into one output. Okay. It's a way of running multiple sessions or multiplex the environment so you can split panes, have multiple terminal windows within the same pane. Manage all the child shells. Okay, so is that not what Windows Terminal supports? So is Windows Terminal not a multiplexer? It's just because like I have multiple tab, like for example, like I can like let's say I want NeoVim, and then let's say I want to split the pane right, and let's say I want to, I don't know, list the Einstein directory, and then on this tab I have something different. Let's see, yeah, but the tabbed pane's not within the same window. Windows Terminal is a terminal emulator, not a shell multiplexer. Yeah, I guess I apologize if I'm not using the right language. I guess I'm just trying to understand what I can get out of something like PSMux that I can't get out of the terminal app. You're mistaking terminal. Windows Terminal is not handy since you're using the mouse too much. Well, I mean, you don't have to use the mouse. You don't have to use the mouse. Like I can do all that same stuff where like you switch tabs and you can create new tabs, and I guess I don't understand. I guess I would have to work with this maybe for a little while to try to understand what is different about it than using. I guess the session thing, the whole like detaching and attaching thing, is something I don't have, or maybe I don't. It's not you guys are definitely not the problem here. It's me. I just don't understand well. Session persistence, split screen. So I can definitely do split screen in Windows in the terminal app. I can have browser tabs. I don't think I can save state though. I think this is one I don't think I can do. So compare this to the terminal app in Windows 11. What are the things that something like Tmux would give me that it does not? I've heard lots of people though say great things about Tmux, and I've just never really considered it as an option because I'm on a Windows machine. But it sounds like Kale has an alternative that might be useful. Okay, where Tmux still wins. Truce. Okay, so this is the one part that I don't, or I guess there's multiple things here. So it does. I can do tabs. I can do panes, which I think we've all already established. But Gemini says that it will give me session persistence, which is what you guys have already mentioned. This might be kind of cool if I was actually like a system administrator or something. If I had to connect to a lot of remote machines, I could really. I bet Kale, this comes in handy with your kind of work, right? Because you're doing IT stuff. sysadmin stuff, right? Being able to connect to stuff, disconnect, reconnect. Buzztronics. Tmux does at least two things: sessions and multiplexing. So I think the multiplexing thing is not something. I think the multiplexing is something I already have solved, or in some way, shape, or form. The ability to have multiple panes and multiple tabs and all that stuff. That's something I feel like I already have. And again, apologize if I'm not using the right words. But yeah, the session, the remote SSH stuff, Tmux is completely scriptable. You can write a short shell script that automatically opens a terminal, splits it into three specific. Oh, that's kind of cool. No, imagine seamlessly moving through all of them just by thinking about it. Well, yeah, but you can move through. I don't know. I guess I don't understand. I guess I can move through panes and tabs and stuff all with my keyboard. If I was actually a good keyboard user. But the PS Mux. So I wonder. I'm gonna star this because I might consider giving this a try. I didn't know this existed till Kale brought it up. Shout out to Kale. Appreciate you, buddy. I use my laptop, desktop, depends where I'm at, which is why I benefit from Tmux because I'm not always on Windows. That's very cool, man. Multiple sessions is so nice. It makes switch. So I could definitely see the multiple sessions being really nice. Like I see in the README here, it talks about like switching between work, like a work session and a personal session. I could see that being very useful. I think I probably just need to kind of bite the bullet and like try to work with it for 2 weeks or whatever, and see if it's a useful addition. Oh, look, Jim and I just created a UI to help me understand terminal versus multiplexer simulation. That's pretty cool. This AI stuff, man. Pretty cool stuff. All right, what was I doing? I was getting ready to start data structures and algorithms. Just go on WSL and install it quickly. You mean Tmux? Install Tmux? But I don't really use WSL in that way. I don't really develop using WSL. I develop on the Windows side of the system. So I would probably use PS Mux is what I think what I would use based on this README. I'm only using WSL right now because boot.dev uh, doesn't support Windows. One shot an HTML multiplexer. It did one shot it, didn't it? Pretty impressive. Yo, what's up? I thought this was scheduled for 5. Yes, sorry, delusional dev. I screwed up the schedule this morning, and then I woke up late. That's my bad. Just a rusty streamer, not knowing how to make it work. Arvin, read my comments. I think I read all your comments, Arvin. Yeah, I read your stuff, man. WSL make it slow. I think it makes it slow if you try to. I think what makes WSL slow is when you try to like work. So you're on the WSL side and you're trying to interact with the Windows file system I think that's what can be really slow. Like if you try to go through the mount path. But I think if you want to use WSL for development and you just want to stay on the WSL file system, the Linux file system, then I don't think it's that slow. But I think if you try to do this, like if you try to go through uh, the mounted file system path, I think it's ls mount C, and then that gets you into all of your normal, yeah. I think if you try to access files this way, I think it's very slow. I think they've done some stuff to try to make it faster in recent changes, but yeah, not the ideal way I hear to use it. I primarily use WSL to support Docker desktops. that's my primary use case for it. I'm currently trying to code using NeoVim. What's the best advice for me? Novpa. So I've only been using NeoVim for, oh man, I guess I've been using it for a year now, 18 months now. So I'm not by any means an expert, and I don't want to try to appear like I am. There's a lot of people in chat, I'm sure, that are way better NeoVim users with better VimFoo skills than I'll probably ever have. My only advice would just be to stick with it. Like, struggle through those first couple weeks of using it because you're gonna feel like you're tripping over your fingers a lot, and that's normal. And so you kind of have to like uh, embrace that sort of frustration, embrace the drop in your productivity. But I promise at some point you get to a point where it feels way more natural to navigate your code or even text in general with your keyboard. And now I find myself when I'm in other places, like if I'm in Google Docs or Microsoft Word or basically any other text editing context, now I feel lost if I can't use the motions. So that's really my best advice is like just don't let the first week or 2 weeks of your experience make you give up on it. The only other recommendation that I've made to people before online about it is there's this game called Vim Adventures that is kind of interesting. Like if you just want to get more practice at navigating with all those different Vim motions, all those different Vim motions, this is an interesting game you can play. It is, I think, free to play up until a point, so might be something to check out. It's called it's just vimadventures.com is the name of the website. Kind of interesting. Typecraft is good. I agree with Suos. Typecraft is a wonderful YouTuber. He's way better with NeoVim stuff than I'll ever be. Arvin, you're gonna pivot to Emacs? You're gonna switch sides? Go for it, dude. Why not? Hey Ryan, good to see you, man. Thanks, appreciate you. Appreciate you coming back, visiting the stream again. My advice is that if you're going to use NeoVim, make sure you understand your configuration. So if it breaks or you want to change it, you don't get stuck. I agree with this. I agree with what Buzztronic said. And I think that's helped me a lot is because I built my NeoVim config up. But originally I started by following Typecraft's NeoVim for Noobs course. And since then I've deviated a lot. But having built it up myself, it all makes much more sense to me. Yes, I think that's great advice. Because some of those kickstarts, like what is it? There's 2 or 3 different, like kind of out of the box, like distros or whatever for NeoVim, and if you're brand new to NeoVim, it's probably very overwhelming. All the files and all the plugins and like what's wired what and what should I change. Yeah, I could see that being very difficult. Bash Bunny's Shield Emacs got me interested in the entire task management thing. Yeah, I think Bash Bunny's content's awesome. Yeah, she's great. I totally understand why why her recommendation on Emacs would be persuasive. 100%. I think your entire config is based on his. Yeah, most of my config is if you follow NeoVim for noobs. Although now that NeoVim for noobs course is now kind of outdated because the there's been updates in NeoVim since that course is out, and so certain things he has you doing those that course won't work anymore, or they've been deprecated, and so you need to migrate. Uh, but yeah, but like all my C sharp, all my Rust configs, Go configs, all that stuff I've added after. But NeoVim for noobs is great if you're getting started. It's like Linux. It's hard to get into, but once you're in it, you will love it. Yeah, and I also don't think anybody needs to use NeoVim either. You know what I mean? Like, use the editor you want to use, whatever makes life good, whatever makes you happy, you know? I think you're better off using the NeoVim Kickstarter and understanding the basics before jumping into NeoVim distro. That makes sense. Yeah, I think what Buzztronic said is just really good advice about like if you pull something down and you don't really understand it and then you want to make changes or improvements to it, then it can be frustrating. Although now with how much everybody uses AI to do everything for them, you could probably just fire up your favorite agent, coding agent, and say, "Make my NeoVim do XYZ. Computer, make NeoVim do this," and it will probably work. If I had to guess. Yeah, and I have Vim motion. I have Vim motions in every editor I use. I use VS Code, NeoVim, and Visual Studio, kind of across a range of activities, and I have Vim motion set up in all of them. So I don't think it's necessarily that you need to use NeoVim. You know, I think use what you want. I think I've said that multiple times on stream that the number one thing I'll take away from my NeoVim side quest is Vim motions. That's the number one takeaway for me. It's funny when I say to my colleagues I'm using Vim when they open their code with Notepad++. A lot of people are diehard Notepad++ fans, and maybe I would be too if I had come along in this like in coding earlier. But when I got into writing code, VS Code was on the market, and that was the thing I learned how to code in. So maybe, yeah, but I know there's a lot of people who swear by it. I know there's a lot of people who swear by it starts with an S. I want to say Sublime, but that also sounds wrong. There's a Sublime text editor, right? Yeah, it's a thing. I know there's a lot of people. Yeah, I mean, man, find the tools you love and enjoy and that make you want to code and like go for it. You know. Does Notepad support LSP? I have no idea. I'm assuming you're talking about Notepad++ because I don't think Windows Notepad supports LSP, but I don't know about Notepad++. I got into Notepad++ to make Minecraft mods in 2011. Nice, very cool. In 2011, I was graduating high school. I mean, the only thing I cared about in 2011 was graduating high school, playing football, hanging out with my girlfriend, who is now my wife, computers and programming, and just all that stuff wasn't even on my radar. I mean, I liked technology, like I liked laptops and computers and like working with technology, but the idea of like building it or creating it myself, that wasn't even on my radar. which is really funny looking back at that now because my dad worked in IT my whole childhood, like from 2000, from 99 to up until the last 5 or 6 years. My dad was the IT guy at the high school or at my high school. So I don't know why, but I just never was, wasn't on my radar. In 2011, I was in primary school. Damn, you were way, some of you guys were way ahead of the curve. Yeah. Yeah, you guys were doing this stuff way before I was. All right, I guess we're gonna do some data structures and algorithms. Can't get away from it. Man, I feel old. Hey, good morning, Eduardo. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. 2011, I was 13. Yeah, I'm getting old for the YouTubes, you know. Let's see, which is not important. Understanding how each data structure and algorithm works as you learn about it. Memorizing all the data structures and algorithms in this course. Learning how to write fast programs, getting practice writing code that solves tricky problems. I think this one is not important. Also, I'm going to activate another potion. Potion expires in 60 minutes. That feeling when you're like 20% elderly on YouTube chat. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting because when I think of YouTube, I mean, peak YouTube to me was like Casey Neistat vlogging, right? So I was like, that would have been like 2014, 2015, 2016, and on up until, I don't know, whenever he stopped, whenever that was. And he was 34 when he started vlogging, right? So like, and I was 23 or 24 when that all. So to me, it's kind of crazy to me how many young people are on YouTube and how old I feel. But at the same time, I kind of feel like, well, I'm 33, so I'm not. I'm still younger. I'm younger. I am younger than Casey Neistat was when he started vlogging. So I can't be too old for YouTube. Maybe I'm too old for YouTube in the current form of YouTube. Windows Notepad is based. You don't need anything else. Oh my gosh. No way, man. That would be. I don't think I've said this before, but I don't think I would be a. If I only had to write code like this. Oh, whoops. I'm on the wrong. Like if, because I know this is how people used to write code, right? Like people used to write code like function, say hello. Like that's crazy. That's crazy to me that this is how people. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be a programmer this way because then you'd have to. The only way you'd know is this correct is you'd have to save it and then run it in the other in another in the terminal, or you'd have to write some shell script to like constantly run it on a timer or something. I don't know. I The feedback loop there is just so painful that I don't know if I would have gotten hooked on it the same way I got hooked on it with like the modern tooling. Arvin, I program just like that, dude. That's crazy. That's intense. Gail, have you written code by hand? I have written code by hand, but I've only done it. I've only done it for when I was in college. Let me see if I can find some of my homework. I did it in college. That's not by hand. See if I can find. Oh, here we go. No, that's printed out. Could have sworn there was some that were handwritten in here. Man, it's been a long time since I looked at this stuff. Huh. I could have sworn I had some handwritten code in here. But yeah, that's the only time I remember doing it was I had to go like I took this course remotely in college, and so whenever I had to take exams, I actually had to go to campus and I had to sit in a room and like be proctored, and we had to handwrite our answers. That's the only time I remember having to do it. Crazy. Like this all feels like so long ago now looking at all this. 24 fall 2014. It's a long time ago. Let's focus on the old feeling. Yeah, I guess we yeah, I know I did it for exams, but I thought I did it for homework too. Yeah. Time goes by fast, man. Goes by super fast. All right. We're going to find the minimum. As mentioned, an algorithm is just a set of instructions that can be carried out to solve a problem. It's not any more magical than that. In this course, we'll be building pieces of a pretend social network. Locked in. Okay, so who wants to actually build locked in? Somebody should actually build that. Locked in is a place for professionals to virtue signal about how all the for-profit work they do is actually altruistic endeavor. That's actually fucking hilarious. We need to show our users the accounts they follow. Like it would actually be funny to build a locked in social media, and so like every time you tried to write a post, you would have generative AI rewrite it in like a very douchebaggy way, like translate. You know how like people say like how do you say fuck off in a professional way? You know, that type of stuff. So it just like rewrite it to sound very douchey and over the top. That'd be fun. COVID-19 just made our brains forget time. It is kind of weird to live in a world where, when if you ever watch like any post-apocalyptic TV shows and stuff, there's always like the before times and the after times, and that is defined by the event, the event or whatever. And so it is weird to live in a reality where life is very much divided between there was the time before COVID and there was the time after COVID, you know, in a very meaningful way, in a different way, even than like even other big world events don't feel, or I guess aren't demarcated, don't mark time in that same way that COVID did. But everyone now refers to like there's pre 2020 and there's post 2020, right? It's just very weird. The scary thing to me is that it can all happen again. You know what I mean? We could have a whole nother something worse than COVID-19 could come along, and we have to go through all that stuff all over again. I do worry about that sometimes now. So COVID-19 was such a politically polarizing thing here in the United States that it does kind of concern me that like the next time there's a pandemic and it's maybe a worse pandemic, that people won't take it as seriously, or they won't want to implement similar measures that were implemented during COVID-19. And so it'll sort of be like the boy who cried wolf type of situation where like the time we need to take it really seriously or should take it really seriously, people won't, which would be bad. turned 18 during COVID. Yeah, I felt people who felt bad for people who had kids during COVID. You know, if you had a baby in like 2020, I felt bad for those people. Must have been very stressful. Next version, COVID 20, they'll improve the performance. Yeah, hopefully not. Hopefully not. Hopefully nothing like that ever happens again. Although, I guess it's kind of an inevitable thing, isn't it? You know, in nature, that's just something that happens on some periodic basis. So it's not really a matter of if it'll happen, it's more of a matter of when. All right, we need to show our users the accounts they follow with the lowest follower counts. This will help them know who they follow that isn't popular enough to be worth following anymore. Implement the find minimum algorithm in Python by completing the find minimum function. It accepts a list of integers, nums, and returns the smallest number in the list. So we'll say, here's our min, and we will set that to float infinity. We will return, and we will say, if the list is empty, return none. If length of list equals 0, return none. This is not list, this is nums. Otherwise, we'll loop over it and we'll say for num in nums. If num is less than min, set min to none. Yeah? Success. Algorithms must have a blank number of steps, a finite number of steps. What does the mystery pseudocode do? Here's some pseudocode for a mystery algorithm. Start with an original string called S and a new empty string called R. Loop through S from its last character to its first character, and for each one, add it to the end of R. Once you've processed all the characters, return R. It reverses a string. Huh, I wonder why they did that. They put two questions in the same. It's kind of interesting. That's new, I think. I don't think that's how that used to be. I think in the past they would just they would present the same content on the left and ask different questions on the right, but it would just be one question. But I think this is nicer. I think that's a better user experience. If you've heard stories about leak code and whiteboarding interviews, you might hear the word algorithm and think it's synonymous with hard problem. That's really not the case, and believing it will only psych you out. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Oh, that's something we all need to remember right before we go into an interview. Sauce, why are you saying the same thing over and over again? I don't know what are you spamming in chat? COVID 32 RM-RF Earth. Nah, you suffer in reality, bro. I don't know. I mean, Seneca didn't say you don't suffer in reality. He's just saying you suffer more in imagination. All right, for the locked-in influencers dashboard, we need to calculate the total reach of a group of influencers to estimate how many views a post will get if they all share it. Complete the summed function. It's a slightly modified version of the algorithm above. Instead of just two numbers, it accepts a list of numbers and returns the sum of all of them. So we'll do total equals 0, return our total. Say for num in nums. Total. I think that was an arrow. Was that a whip or was that an arrow? Yeah, I think it was an arrow. I promise we'll get to how this relates to coding, but first we need to review some math stuff. An exponent indicates how many times a number is to be multiplied by itself. Yeah. Okay. In the social media industry, there is a concept called spread. How much a post spreads due to reshares after all the original author's followers see it. As it turns out, social media posts spread at an exponential rate. We found that the estimated spread of a post can be calculated with this formula. In the above formula, average audience followers is the average of the numbers in the audience followers list. This list contains individual follower counts of the author's followers. For example, if audience followers is 23219, then the author has 4 total followers. What? Each follower has their own. Oh, I see what. Okay, I see what you mean. Complete the get. I don't know if I would have used a list to represent that, but that's just me. Complete the get estimated spread function by implementing the formula above. The only input is audience followers, which is a list of the follower counts of all followers the author has. Return the estimated spread. If the audience followers list is empty, return 0. Okay. We do if length of list. They really need. Does Python not have an is empty? This gets written so much. They really should consider adding something that's like audience followers dot is empty or something like that. Let's see. Length equals 0. Return 0. Otherwise, we're going to calculate the average, which is going to equal, let's see, total equals 0 for f in audience followers, total plus f, and then we'll say average equals f, or sorry, total divided by length of audience followers, and then we have to calculate the spread. Average mod, let's see, no, count. Actually, let's say num of followers, which equals length. I think this is what they want. And then we'll do num followers. Woohoo. Do they have a, don't they have a, is there a sum function? There is a sum function. So I could have done this, sum of audience followers. Yeah. Exponents are really simple once you get the hang of them. Implicit Boolean, you can do it if not in list. Python is a copy-paste language, so probably not. And they really need to add something like that. I tell you what, C#, the link namespace in C# has really, really spoiled me and made me very lazy. Because like that library just has all sorts. I mean, it's also a library that can really shoot you in the foot sometimes. But God, it makes working with all types of collections just so nice. And I kind of like. I wish it was everywhere. I wish it was in all languages. That was kind of a pain point in Go when I started learning Go and writing Go code. Was oh man, there's not a select method off these lists. Yeah, kind of spoiled. I'm kind of a spoiled child now. I blame C sharp. If not in my yeah. Yeah, it just seems to me it just seems silly. It's like people are gonna have to check if a list is empty a lot. So why not just have a
Kelsey
method?
says, oh, for sure.
Good morning, Annie. Yeah, the extension methods in C sharp are just wonderful. What a great language feature, right? I wish that language feature was in TypeScript. I want to use it all the time in TypeScript. Yeah. I hope other languages adopt it at some point. I think it's a wonderful feature. All right, what am I doing here? Oh, it's a quiz. Two. So what is this? 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. I don't even know what that is. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 16. 10, 24. 10 to the power of 3. 10 times 10 is 100. 100 times 10 is 1,000. I'm absolutely terrible at doing mental math. My son loves to use mental math. I've never been a mental math person. I like to write everything out. Okay, exponents grow very large very quickly. Let's take a look at an example. So an array in Python is truthy. So if its length is 0, it is false. Yeah, but I don't know. I guess ergonomically that still doesn't help me solve the fact that like why do I have to write length of list equals 0 to see if something's empty again and again. I mean, obviously if you're in a project, you can just write some utility methods, but
Kelsey says the bear is so cute.
oh, on my thumbnail? Yeah. Oh, you mean Boots? Yeah. They have great mascots on boot.dev. Yeah, he's a good looking guy. Let's see, boot.dev. Mascot. I wonder who does all their artwork. Where's their? I've found their. Oh, there we go. Yeah, it's a good mascot. I need to come up with a mascot. Maybe my mascot can be a wiener dog, since we have a dachshund. But in Python, a list can contain none, and so that requires you to define that an array with all nones is empty. I mean, I don't care if a list contains a bunch of null elements, right? Or one null element, right? It's a list is empty if it doesn't have any elements. I learned about macros in C, and now I'm a gremlin. Are macros in C sort of like metaprogramming where you can add things to the language, sort of like in Rust? Similar idea. Let's see. You can make a static method if we're going to call it over and over and call it from a class for optimization. Decorators, you could make isEmpty as a template function. Yeah, I just wish it was there in the language. I mean, I understand there's solutions, but I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, that's the same thing though I said about Go. I bitched about Go not having a lot of built-in, you know, methods. And people said that's the way it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be simple. You're supposed to just have one way to do things, which I think I mean, there's definitely an argument to that. But like I said, I'm spoiled. I've gotten used to being spoiled. Ryan, yeah, that's false. John Madden, null is an element though. Yeah. All I'm saying is that if a if a list has no elements, it's empty, and I just want some sort of helper method, so I don't have to write the same code over and over again. Okay, why doesn't assembly have built-in? Exactly. That's probably that.
Says make your mascot the picture when OP looked like a Jedi, but his cartoon form.
Okay, that'd be cool. That's a good idea. Although I don't, I wonder if I can find that. I have all these photos and not a great way to find it. That's a great idea though, honey. I wonder if facial recognition works on dogs. Like in the Photos app on my iPhone, I wonder if I created an album. I'd have to dig to find that photo. It's a good idea though. Oh my god, is it 8:15? It's 8:15 already. All right, well, that's going to be it for me. I got to I got to do work. Ryan, bool of lists equals, hold on, what? Rent bool equals false. Oh, I guess I should probably also just return empty. I guess I don't, so what does this mean, Ryan? What is this, in the context of the conversation that we were having? What does this mean about checking if something is empty? Because this, I don't know, I don't know why this works this way, but I still think what I want is I want a method off list that just tells me it's empty, or like something like this. The same way you can sum a list, right? There should just be like a is empty, right? Like that. And under the hood, this could just do this, right? Because this is what everyone does to check to see if a list is empty. But just give me this. Just spoil me and give me this method. Lists in Python are falsy. Yeah, I don't understand the significance of that. He means when interpreting an empty list as Boolean, it's false. Okay. I mean, okay. Like, okay, I absorb that information. I understand it. But that doesn't mean that that they couldn't build something like this, right? length list equals 0 is... Oh, is it really? Hold on. That would be hilarious if it was. Hold on. What? Let's see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's less. I think this is actually less. It doesn't read as well though, Gail. Okay, it's not. It doesn't read as good. It's not as readable. That's actually really funny that you pointed that out. It's actually less. I think this is less characters. Maybe that's why they did it. Like they're like, oh, that's it doesn't take that much to type or something. I don't know. It just seems funny to me that some is worthy of inclusion, but is empty isn't. You know? But I guess maybe it was a question of like, well, it's worth wrapping an iteration and making it very declarative. Anyways, I'll stop bitching about Python. It's a wonderful language. I'm the problem. It's not you, it's me. I know your plight. I'm just a Pythonista. Some is lazy. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, I appreciate hanging out with me. Like I said, I'm gonna try to be more consistent with streaming again. I'd like to try to make it my way through boot.dev. I'm about halfway through what my goal is. I'm on level 49. I want to try to get to level 100. So um, I'll try to be consistent with showing up like normal or like I was. It'll be in the mornings like it has been before work. So if you're around and you want to hang out, please come and join in. Otherwise, I'll see you guys, I guess, tomorrow morning. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Okay. Bye, guys. Bye. See you guys. Have a good day.